Good evening, everyone. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, and adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required by law. Specifically, the revised annual notice was emailed to the West Essex Tribune and Star Ledger on February 28, 2023. The agenda and resolutions for the meeting are available on www.livingstonNJ.org. Certain portions of this meeting may be closed to the public for the purpose of personnel and/or other matters as outlined in the Sunshine Law. Decisions made and/or discussed in closed session will be made known to the public at a later time. Notice to the members of the governing body and township staff. Any use of electronic devices during this meeting shall be used solely for the purposes of township business, and any communication are subject to the Open Public Records Act. To the extent possible, this evening's Township of Livingston meeting will be live streamed via Facebook at www.facebook.com/Livingston Township NJ. Questions or comments will also be accepted by emailing livcomments@livingstonNJ.org by 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Each speaker should follow the rules of order in Livingston Code 2-15. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Meinhardt. Yes. Klein.
Here.
Begoli. Here. Deputy Mayor Anthony.
Here.
Mayor Viera.
Present. So, you know what? Let's stand for a moment of silence and keep in mind all those who are suffering throughout this world, in our great country, in our state, and in our township of Livingston, and then we'll follow that by the Pledge of Allegiance. Samantha Vieira, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and I definitely, for the first time, want to welcome my wife, Gabriella, and daughter, Samantha, here to the council meeting, so welcome. So tonight we're honored to invite another wonderful Livingston organization to make a presentation. The Livingston Kiwanis Club and its members, welcome. You've been a staple in our community since 1930, and we welcome all of your club members here tonight. I know Jerry Adelson and Mike Pollock have a presentation for us, so if you want to just come up and I think the PowerPoint presentation is already loaded for you. And I know this week is very special to the Kiwanis Club. It's the start of your annual Kiwanis Carnival.
I'm Jerry Adelson. I'm the co-chair of our secretary, and he's going to fill you in a little bit more about the carnival, why we do it, how long, and give you some interesting facts.
It's the old guys who end up being the historians. Have you ever noticed? Okay, I'm Mike Pollock. I'm secretary of the Kiwanis Club of Livingston. Thank you, Mayor Viera, and the town council for giving us this opportunity. We're very appreciative of your support, and thank you for the opportunity tonight to just give you a little bit of background about the club, the carnival, and on our signature project, which is Arc Morning. So first point of order, what is Kiwanis? And there'll be a quiz later, okay, for all you members. We are an apolitical, non-sectarian club of men and women from all races, religions, whose only agenda and clear mission is to create a better world for our children, one community at a time. As the mayor said, we received our charter from Kiwanis International May 12th, 1930. We're now in our 94th year of service to the Livingston community. Our first president was Clarence H. Dougal, who was the third fire chief in Livingston, and actually he purchased the first fire truck ever in Livingston. And charter members included R. Freeman Harrison, Robert DeCamp, and Mervyn V.T. Haynes. Over the years, the Kiwanis roster of members has included a who's who in Livingston. Right, Mayor? In 1935, the Kiwanis Club was already in full swing and organized the Livingston Recreational Association under the guidance of Mervyn V.T. Haynes, the namesake of our swimming pool. Carnival actually got its start not by Kiwanis, but actually by the fire department. It was in the early 40s, but by 1945, the fire department turned the carnival over to the Kiwanis Club and to the Livingston Civilian Defense Council. At that time, there were 4 rides: a merry-go-round, a Ferris wheel, a chair-a-plane, and a pony ride. There were also games of chance and skill, but the proceeds of those first events were earmarked to create a memorial park here in town. By 1947, Kiwanis Club was solely in control of the carnival and has been ever since. In 1950, there were a few changes made, and I'm just going to read just a paragraph or two from the West Essex Tribune, June 29th, 1950. It says, "Big features of the carnival this year are the animal show and the freak show, both of which are new additions. Another addition is a motordrome for motorcycles racing around in a small cup-shaped track. Billy Outen and his high diving act has been a sensation. He and his troupe perform fancy dives, culminated when he dives from the top of a pole 110 feet high with his clothes ablaze into a small tank, which is also ablaze with gasoline." I got to tell you, we got to bring back some of that stuff. They don't make carnivals like they used to. And actually, I'm not sure what Billy Outen, happened to him, but a clip of that can actually be seen in the movie The Right Stuff. Okay. All of those attractions were gone by the time I moved into town in 1964 at the age of 8. Do the math. But I remember the rides, the games, and the cotton candy from those days. In 1999, our then president, Barry Ross, came up with a fantastic idea that has become our signature project. We closed the carnival to the general public on Saturday morning, and we opened it to the members, families, and staff of the Arc of Essex County. They enjoyed free games, rides, prizes, food for 2 hours in a safe, welcoming space. Since that year, along with our exclusive sponsor, Regal Bank, we have expanded our guest list to include the Horizon School, the Livingston Advisory Committee for Disabilities, Everest Community Services, and other local organizations. Together with the Livingston Key Club, the Heritage and Aquinas Builders Clubs, we host 400 to 500 guests each year for a morning they and we never forget. Fasting forward to today, post-COVID, we're still going strong. Through the carnival and the support of our sponsors and guests, the net proceeds of the 5-day event are all funneled back into the community. This past year alone, we provided $10,000 in college scholarships, over $10,000 to Livingston Neighbors Helping Neighbors. We continued our sponsorship of the Y and the Piranha Swim Team. We support the First Aid Squad and Volunteer Fire Department, the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and countless other organizations that are helping our neighbors in need, all due to an annual event that has been a staple here in Livingston for almost 80 years. If you'd like to join us, please go to our website, livingstonkiwanis.org, or just Google us. Come to one of our meetings. We'd love to have you join us and help us in our mission. Mayor Vieira, Town Council members, thank you again. We'll see you all at Carnival.
Thank you very much. And tonight I'm honored to have a proclamation. So I will ask all the Kiwanis members to come up front so we can present this to you, but the proclamation is, whereas the Kiwanis mission is to empower communities to improve the world by making lasting differences in the lives of children, and whereas the Kiwanis vision is to provide a positive influence in communities worldwide by ensuring that all children will wake up one day in communities that believe in them, nurture them, and provide the support they need to thrive. And whereas the Kiwanis Club of Livingston, chartered on March 12, 1930, has 50 active members and values services above all else. And whereas the Kiwanis Club of Livingston holds an annual carnival to fund charitable endeavors, including but not limited to Livingston Neighbors Helping Neighbors, West Essex YMCA Piranhas Swim Team, the Livingston Fire Department and First Aid Squad, Livingston High School scholarships for 10 area youths, and the ARC Morning for community members with special needs. And whereas in 2023, the Kiwanis Carnival is planned for May 16th, 2023 through May 20th, 2023. And whereas the Mayor and Council congratulate the Kiwanis Club of Livingston for their dedication to the community for so many years. And now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Michael M. Vieira, the Mayor of the Township of Livingston, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, and the Township Council, do hereby proclaim Kiwanis Carnival Week, May 16, 2023 through May 20th, 2023 in the Township of Livingston. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Why don't we all go down? Why don't we call all the Kiwanis members up? So just, I want to welcome all the Kiwanis members here, and I know that it's taken you out of a busy schedule because tomorrow is the start of a week's worth of service that I know that Kiwanis members have to make sure that they work every single night. And being a Kiwanis member, which I'm proud of, I will be there every single night working the Kiwanis Carnival. But we just want to actually just say thank you to the Kiwanis Club for everything that you do in the community. And proclaiming Kiwanis Carnival Week is something that well-deserved, and we just want to thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'm going to present this to Bridget Navola, the president this year of the Livingston Kiwanis Club.
Always a pleasure. Always.
Thank you. Also tonight, the town council would like to welcome the members of the library, the Livingston Library Board. Welcome, welcome. We appreciate you being here. I'm not sure if you have any employees with you too, but I do see some of the board members here. During the last month, there's been a lot of talk and debates about censoring books and readings, and giving away our freedoms to read. It's clearly protected by our Constitution. So, I want to thank Councilwoman Bogogli for feeling so strongly about this issue and requesting that our town council present a proclamation to our wonderful library. As well as tonight, we're also going to pass a resolution which pretty much the same proclamation. But what I'd like to do right now is, should we go down there and read the proclamation, or you want to stay up here and read the proclamation and go down there? Why don't we read it up here, and then we'll ask the library board to come up. We do have, I know that we have Larry Bergman and Peggy Slacken, who are the co-presidents, so I do see Cynthia Valerio, Itai Yu, and let me see who else we see. Sundeep, is there anybody else I'm missing? I did say Sudeep.
I'm sorry.
Good. So, who is, okay, Ed.
Okay. Whereas the freedom to read is essential to our democracy, and reading is among our greatest freedoms. And whereas privacy is essential to the exercise of that freedom, and the right to privacy is the right to open inquiry without having the subjects of one interest examined or scrutinized by others. And whereas the freedom to read is protected by our Constitution, and
Whereas some individuals, groups, and public authorities work to remove or limit access to reading materials, to censor content in schools, to label controversial views, to distribute lists of objectionable books or authors, and to purge libraries of materials reflecting the diversity of a society. And whereas both government intimidation and the fear of censorship cause authors to seek to avoid controversy, to practice self-censorship, thus limiting our access to new ideas. And whereas every silencing of hearsay, every enforcement of an orthodoxy diminishes the toughness and resilience of American society and leaves it less able to deal with controversy and difference. And
whereas Americans still favor free enterprise in ideas and expression and can be trusted to exercise critical judgment to recognize propaganda and misinformation, and to make their own decisions about what they read and believe, and to exercise the responsibilities that accompany this freedom. And whereas intellectual freedom is essential to the preservation of a free society and a creative culture, and whereas conformity limits the range and variety of inquiry and expression on which our democracy and our culture depend, and
whereas the Township of Livingston and this governing body has always valued and affirmed inclusive practices supporting the rights of every person to have free choice in their decision-making and always denounced hate, intolerance, and racial bias. Whereas we celebrate the freedom to choose or the freedom to express one's opinion, even if that opinion might be considered unorthodox or unpopular, and stresses the importance of ensuring the availability of those unorthodox or unpopular viewpoints to all who wish to express them respectively. Now, therefore, be it
Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Township of Livingston supports the library and encourages all libraries and bookstores to acquire and make available materials representative of all people in our society. And be it further, now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Michael M. Vieira, the Mayor of the Township of Livingston, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, and the Township Council, encourage free people to read freely, now and forever. Adopted May 15th, 2023. So, before we go down, do any council members want to make a comment?
I just wrote a few lines. Obviously, I felt very strongly about presenting this resolution before the council. President John Adams said, "Let us dare to read, think, speak, and write." The First Amendment of the Constitution protects 5 freedoms: speech, religion, press, assembly, and the right to petition the government. Together, these 5 guaranteed freedoms make the people of the United States the freest country in the world. The right to read, to be informed, to be able to choose, and in our founding fathers, the Bible that they wanted to read, afforded us our religious freedom. And it was the first paramount freedom that afforded us our right to read, and it was given to us by our founding fathers. Coming from a country that was once under the control of a dictator who suppressed our rights to free thought and literacy, it is my belief as an educator that a person's ability to be a free person comes from their ability to read, to be educated in their vision as a basic right that should never be taken for granted or banned in a free country such as ours. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Klein?
I was talking to one of our town employees over the weekend who lives about a half an hour west of us. And he was remarking that in his town, 30 minutes away, they were arguing over what books to ban. And this is 30 minutes from us. So this is not some, far off country where where populations are being stifled, by an autocratic government. This is in the United States, and this is in New Jersey, and this is 30 minutes from where we are right now. So I think this is I want to thank the Councilwoman for bringing this to our attention. I think it's very important that we make this kind of statement. Of course, the first thing I think of when I think of banning books are the Nazis burning those books, and this is the opposite of that. And so, Councilman Begoli, thank you for helping us to do this.
Thank you,
Hey.
Councilman Meinhardt.
Yeah, so I also would like to thank Councilwoman Begoli, and certainly I copy what she and Councilman Klein said, but we don't really get a chance to say thank you in public to the library board members. So it's really nice to have the co-presidents here and some of the longtime members sitting here with us this evening. One of the honors of being the mayor is having a chance to sit on the board of the library and seeing for 12 months, the first Tuesday of every month, first or second, I forgot already, so second Tuesday, thank you, Cynthia. The second Tuesday every month, all the hard work that gets put in by the board members, all volunteers, all the hard work that they do not only on those Tuesdays, but throughout the whole year. So I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to the 5 of you that are here and to also the remaining board members as well. So please pass on my gratitude as well. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor?
Yes, you saw the mayor and I just conferring that I think everything has been covered up here. Thank you, Councilwoman Begoli, for spearheading this and everything you had said. I appreciate it, and it is important, as Councilman Klein said as well. And of course, as a liaison to the library board and seeing all the great work that the library does, it's near and dear to my heart, and reading as well, as we just mentioned. So thank you for all your service to the town. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And you know what? As the liaison now, I know how dedicated the library board really is. I was there the other day during where I should have been at a Devils playoff game. But you know what? I was at the library board meeting. But no, I really appreciate your dedication. And let's come on up, and then we'll make the presentation. So I'd like to make this presentation to both Larry and Peggy. They are the co-presidents of the library board. And then after I make the presentation to them, if they just want to say 1 or 2 words. So, come on, Larry, come on over here. So, congratulations. Just a couple things.
I just want to say something. I went to I just told Cynthia I was at a workshop on last Thursday night, a Buckles workshop, and I had missed a meeting since I was away, and I'm on the committee, and I walk into the workshop, and they said, oh, by the way, you're one of the panelists to sit and do this. And I said, what? I said, well, you weren't here, so we volunteered you. Anyhow, it was on strategic planning, so I was a comfortable situation. Anyhow, I want to thank the council for this wonderful proclamation. I am so happy that you recognized how important this matter is, and our library and our library board absolutely feels the same way. And it is the most important thing to be able to choose a book and read it. And you know what? It's a library. If you don't like the book, bring it back. You don't have to read it.
Do you want to say a couple things? No, you're fine. Okay. Great. Thank you again. Congratulations. So thank you. You know, having presentations are so wonderful for our community. I really do like when we get a council full of people and we recognize them. Essex County updates. I do not see Eileen Fishman here, so we're going to go past that. May I have the approval of minutes pending any corrections? We have our regular and conference meeting minutes, April 24th, 2023, and our closed session minutes, April 24th, 2023.
So moved.
May I have a second? Second. All in favor? Opposed? None? Okay. So, a couple of things. On February 27th, at our February 27th meeting, the council passed an ordinance accepting and including student representatives on the Livingston Environmental Commission. So tonight, I'm honored to appoint Adit Pasal and Chloe Marachi as student members, student members of the LEC. So, Carolyn, could you contact Walter and please make him include Adit and Chloe on their mailing contact list? Sure. Thank you.
They're on there.
But they're already on
email
there?
list? Yeah.
Okay.
They've appeared at many LEC meetings.
Oh, have they?
Yeah,
Okay,
and
so
they've
now
done a
they're
great
now they're
job.
officially
Good
members.
appointment, Mayor. What's that?
Now they're officially
Yes,
student members.
yes.
Good. Okay, that's fantastic.
Oh, and I thank the council for amending the ordinance to allow the student members.
Sure. No, great. Deputy Mayor is our liaison to the LEC. It's a great committee.
Great.
So, Jared, I may need some help on this. So before we have any public comments on agenda items, final ordinance 9-23 is being carried to Tuesday, May 30th. And ordinance number 13-2023 is being pulled from tonight's agenda. And I believe we have some,
Mayor, 12 is being pulled also.
say that again?
Ordinance 12-2023 is being pulled from the agenda tonight.
12-2023 is also being pulled from
And
the
its
agenda.
continuing resolution, which is 23-150, is also being pulled from the agenda.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, its companion resolution, 23-150, is also being pulled.
From the agenda.
And also, I believe the ordinance 8-2023, which is on for public hearing, there's, based on some comments from the planning board, there's going to be amendment to that ordinance, so there will not be a public hearing tonight, but an amendment and a reintroduction.
Correct, we were supposed to do a final hearing tonight, and we're just going to start that clock all over again. We're going to amend it, and then next meeting, it'll be a first reading, or second reading?
Will be the public hearing at the next
Public
meeting,
hearing.
yes, Mayor.
Okay. So before I ask to open to the public comments, Mr. Lewis or Mr. Cantor, do we have anything for closed session?
So, Mayor, we had a closed session before we came into the regular session where we discussed fair share housing litigation. We discussed contract negotiations related to the ordinance and the resolution that are pulled, and I think another fair share housing item.
So you have nothing else for public, closed session
No,
for
Mayor.
tonight? Mr. Lewis, do you have anything for closed session tonight?
Nothing that wasn't already addressed.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion to open the public portion on agenda items only? May I have a second? All in favor? Okay, at this time, the meeting is now opened for agenda items only. There is a 4-minute time limit per person. If you come up to the microphone, please give us your name and address for the record. So is there anybody want to make a comment on agenda items? Madam Clerk, have you received any written comments?
Yes, Mayor, I have. I have a comment from Justin Escher Alpert, 56 Amherst Place. He writes, "Dear Mayor Vieira, thank you for accepting a few comments. On conference meeting item D1, with respect to forming a committee to research incentives for volunteer fire, first aid, and auxiliary police, we must do the hard work of determining what a real living household income is in healthy local commerce and culture for skilled and educated local citizens to have a firm real stake in the outcome of this Livingston community. This is the path forward for sustaining volunteer fire, first aid, and auxiliary police. It is a socioeconomic issue that will not be solved by incentives. It will be solved by fostering richer community values." And on ordinance 13-2023, which has been pulled, he writes, "Please do not permit the YMCA real property title flow to a Maryland LLC in perpetuity. That property could be invaluable to a healthy, growing Livingston community, especially if combined with the aging long-term care facility and the partially vacant Santan Propagander building next door. There has to be a master plan. As well, welcome an analysis of how private equity currently bleeds our Livingston community dry of intergenerational wealth through corporate management of long-term care facilities and underlying real property ownership. It is a systemic issue, and a skilled and educated community like Livingston ought to be taking lead. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Is there any other comments? Any other further comments from the floor? Hearing no more comments. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, thank you. Jared, I'm going to probably need your help again. So let's, again, we're carrying final ordinance 09-23 to Tuesday, May 30th meeting. And we have, so we're making a amendment. So may I have a motion to amend ordinance number 08-23?
Yeah, and the amendment was provided to the council, and I see it here, and it's going to be further amended, paragraph 8, which says, "The sign shall not contain or depict any logo or other graphics beyond the lettering." That paragraph will be removed, right, Mr. Lewis?
Correct.
So it's going to be, the motion is to amend it pursuant to the ordinance that's in front of you, but omitting paragraph 8 as part of that amendment.
And also amending paragraph 9B. From what's currently written, the amended version will say, "In addition to wall signs, one monument sign limited to identifying the address, name of the center, the occupants of the business premises, the business or activity conducted thereon, and business logos shall be permitted in the front yard, provided, however, that all the following requirements are complied with." So that's in 9B, that's the reverb, so that would be it.
So does Carolyn need to read this ordinance into the record by title?
Well, first, you have a motion to amend, so let's.
So may I have a motion to amend 08-23? May I have a second? All in favor?
I think you need a roll call, Mayor.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Meinhardt?
Yes.
Klein? Yes. Pagoli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anthony? Yes. Mayor Viera?
Yes.
And then, Mayor, you need a motion to introduce and set the public hearing.
So may I have a motion to...
Reintroduce.
No, does Carolyn need to read it? Read it by title?
Ordinance 8-2023, amending Chapter 170-90C, signs to permit monument signs on certain eligible properties in the B and B1 zones.
So may I have a motion to approve the ordinance and for introduction and fix a date for a second reading? I'll move it on first reading. May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please proceed with the roll call.
Councilmember Meinhardt? Yes. Klein? Yes. Pagoli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anthony? Yes. Mayor Viera?
Yes. Okay, so I'm just trying to find out. Okay, so we're at ordinances for introduction. Madam Clerk, can you, let me see, we just...
Mr. Lewis, I think because we accepted the planning board's recommendation, it doesn't have to go back to the planning board, or because we didn't take the, right, so it can be on for the next meeting.
All right, so public hearing will be May 30th.
So, Madam Clerk, could you please read ordinance number 11-2023 by title?
Yes, Mayor. The Ordinance 11-2023, bond ordinance providing supplemental appropriation of $6 million for Phase A of well remediation and authorizing $6 million in bonds or notes of the township to finance the cost thereof.
Move it on first reading.
May I have a second? Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please proceed with the roll call.
Councilmember Meinhardt?
Yes.
Klein? Yes. Pagoli?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anthony?
Yes.
Mayor Viera?
Yes.
And Mayor, this will have its public hearing on May 30th also, which is a Tuesday.
Okay. We have pulled, correct me if I'm wrong, we pulled ordinance 12-2023,
Yes, Mayor.
and we are now on, and we're pulling 13-2023.
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, so we're done with ordinances. Okay, so at this point, we're at the consent agenda. All matters listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussions of these items unless a member of the governing body so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda as part of general orders. Madam Clerk, please read all the resolutions on the consent agenda by title and resolution.
Yes, Mayor. Resolution 23-147, authorizing award of contract to Mott McDonald for duplicate screen upgrades. Resolution 23-148, authorizing award of contract to Mott McDonald LLC for skimmer replacement design. Resolution 23-149, authorizing approval of change order number 2 with JEV Construction LLC. Resolution 23-150 is pulled. Resolution 23-151, approving redevelopment agreement for Block 3100, Lot 56, commonly known as 321 South Livingston Avenue. Resolution 23-152, authorizing the cancellation of property taxes on Block 7300, lots 4.01, 5, and 6, due to tax exempt status. And lastly, Resolution 23-153, Book Choice Freedom Resolution.
Do any members wish to have any items removed from the consent agenda for separate discussion and voting? Thank you. May I have a motion to approve all the resolutions on the consent agenda? So moved. May I have a second? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Meinhardt?
Yes.
Klein? Yes. Begoli? Yes. Deputy Mayor Anthony? Yes. Mayor Viera?
Yes. Thank you. This brings us down to the public portion on any subject. So may I have a motion to open the public portion on any subject? May I have a motion? I have a second. All in favor? Opposed? A meeting is now open on any subject with a 3-minute time limit. You can come up to the microphone. Please have your name, give us your name and address for the record.
Karen is Josh Garland, 293 Eisenhower Parkway. We've missed you the past couple meetings. Had to finish tax season and recover a bit, but we're happy to be back. And it was a perfect meeting to come back to based on the organizations to which you presented proclamations tonight, because Josh spent many a year with his friends enjoying the carnival growing up. And my parents were members of the library for many years because their own community didn't have a library. So that was very appropriate. We're here this evening to seek an update on where the township stands with the retail cannabis license process. On March 13th, after review of the initial ad hoc committee report, both Mayor Vieira and Councilwoman Begoli stated that they supported adding the Class 5 cannabis retailer license in the township as soon as possible, and the mayor requested the ad hoc committee commence their review of that. We would like to know where the committee stands with the review process and when they plan to present the report and findings. We would also like to offer any of our resources, people that we know within the industry who would be more than happy to assist in the education process, answer any questions on how the adult use market has gone in New Jersey for the past 13 months, and to ensure that the committee can present the most informed findings possible. We truly understand that these things take time. We just respectfully request that the committee not take too long with their review and allow the township to stay on the sidelines too long. As they say, time is money, and the sooner you can get started, the sooner you will have funds available to assist the residents with programming and services that the budget can't meet. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Barry, I have a question, because I know we had a brief meeting this week, you and Jared and me. Except for retail, you're working on the other classes, and are you on target to present them to?
Yeah, we should have an ordinance for the next meeting with the initial recommendations from the committee. I had a conversation with the other 2 committee members. We're looking at the retail, looking at the current zoning and which zones. Hesitant to commit to a specific date, but I think we definitely understand the council's interest in getting a response quickly.
So you're working on the retail portion, but
component
the
and
other
and
classes are
medical.
going
I
to be
think we added
presented to us
medical at the last
on May,
meeting as
the
well.
other classes will be presented to us on May.
We should have a
May
draft
30th?
ordinance, proposed for discussion on May 30th, correct?
Okay. Proposed in conference, not at the regular?
Well, I'd
Or-
like to have you review it and
Okay.
discuss it and make sure that it's ready for prime time, you're ready to introduce.
Okay, so
Yeah.
hopefully
Then
it's the
introduction
conference,
probably in the
May
first meeting
30th.
Correct.
And then we don't have any timetable for the, but they're already looking into it?
Yes, we are, and would certainly potentially welcome, because one of the things we're looking for is resources of people in the industry to try and, come up with recommendations of appropriate regulations, how you address concerns, lot sizes, location, separation requirements, and those things. So if you want to reach out to me with your contact information, I'd love to discuss it with you. Thank you.
So, Barry, while we don't have an approximate date set, is there like a month that we can look into so that we can have an
I
idea of
mean,
how long this might take?
Yeah, no, I think that we understand the council's interest in proceeding. We're down to now one category, so it makes it a little easier. So I would think certainly within the next couple of months, we should have a report.
Thank you, Barry.
Sure.
Is there any other comments? No. Is there any other comments from the general public? Madam Clerk, is there any written public comments that you received?
Yes, Mayor, I have a comment from Ed and, excuse me, gotta put my glasses on, Marissa Tucker. They write, Barry and council members, I am following up on the April 24th Livingston Township Council meeting and the subsequent April 30th flooding on Broad Lawn Drive. Please share any updates on alleviating this problem, both short and long term. Thank you.
Thank you. Barry, could you respond? You don't have to do it now, but can you get that correspondence from Carolyn and let's have some sort of
Yeah, I'll get
correspondence.
back to the Tuckers. Did have an opportunity to discuss this with the engineer, and I can certainly respond to her.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Seeing none, may I have a motion to close the public portion on any subject? All in favor? Opposed? None. This brings us down to the reports of the township officials and professionals. Barry Lewis?
Yeah, a couple items to address. First, you recall at the last meeting, we introduced the 2023 budget that is scheduled for public hearing on May 30th, but it is subject to state review and approval. Our CFO, Ann Cucci, who's here tonight, did a great job getting all the paperwork together, getting it submitted. But at this point, we are subject to the schedule of the review person assigned. Obviously, Ann's been great and proactive in trying to communicate with them. We will keep you posted to see if we can get any issues or questions they have resolved so that we can have the hearing. If not, then on the 30th, we'd have to continue it pending the state review, but did want to recognize Ann for her hard work and that she's doing on this. We did last week, you'll recall at the last meeting, the council passed a proclamation for Public Employee Appreciation Week, which we shared with the employees, and they were appreciative. And then I also like to recognize our Human Resources Department, Kathy Boffa, Maureen Sweeney, Teresa Sador, and my assistant Lori Patino worked very hard on. Last week, they have a whole week-long of activities for the township employees, including a breakfast, and ice cream trucks, and some things to really express the appreciation, and they did a great job on that. The 2023 capital projects are starting to get underway now that the weather is conducive. We're going to be seeing very soon the improvements to the back patio at the community center, which I think will be very well received. It's going to have covered areas and stuff for the seniors. And then soon to be followed then a repaving of the community center parking lot, which is long overdue, as well as a number of road projects will be underway. And then finally, I think of public interest, the PFAS water issues. The first phase of projects is out to bid. We anticipate receiving bids in June and awarding the contract either at the first meeting in June or the second meeting in June, depending on if there's any issues with the bids. So that's progress, and soon the contractors will be out there and starting to implement and install those remedial treatments. They're not a quick turnaround because of some of the lead times, but we hope to get those done as soon as possible. And again, as we've previously noted, as wells get treated, we'll maximize the use of water out of those to allow us to limit the use from those that are not yet completed. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Town Manager. Our Deputy Township Manager, Russ Jones, anything?
We're still waiting on the county for the review of our community development block grant application, and I think we should hear something this week.
Your microphone.
Yeah, we're still waiting on the county's review of our community development block grant application. So hopefully we'll hear something probably Thursday when we go down for our meeting.
Great, thank
Because they
you.
have to have a public hearing, so we're hopeful.
Assistant Township Manager, Adam Lerner, anything, Adam?
No, not for this evening.
Okay, thank you. Carolyn Mazuka, our clerk, anything?
Nothing from me, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Our wonderful CFO, Ann Cucci. Anything, Ann?
Barry said everything I was going to mention, as a matter of fact. Thank you.
I want to give you a shout out.
Thank you.
Good. And thank you for everything you do in trying to keep our taxes low, so thank you. Township Attorney Jared Cantor, anything?
Good evening, Mayor. No report tonight.
Good, thank you. Council comments. Councilmember Ed Meinhardt.
Thank you very much. First of all, I look forward to seeing everybody 2 weeks from today at the Memorial Day Parade. I've sat in a few meetings, being the liaison to the committee, and I'm sure it's going to be a great parade again, so I know the weather will be spectacular as always, and so I look forward to seeing the whole town on Livingston Avenue. The last couple of weeks, I had the opportunity to attend 4 separate events: the Friendship Circle honoring various Livingston residents, the Jewish Community Housing Corp honoring Livingston resident Scott Leventhal, Cycle for Survival, and Hit It Out of the Park in memory of Jay Kessler. And it just goes to prove how great this town is. This town always, always cares about its residents. We have so many dedicated and devoted residents who just care about those who are less fortunate, that I reflect on it on all the 4 events that I went to over the last few weeks, and how much I appreciate living in this town and with the residents that we have here. So I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Sean Klein?
I want to just first say that Pick It Up Livingston on this past Saturday, I thought it was a huge success, and for all the council members who participated, thank you for being there. It was a blast. I mean, if you drove around the roads afterwards, you would see there were hundreds of garbage bags along the sides of the road, and thanks so much to the DPW for picking those up this morning, and thanks to the Livingston Police Department for helping to orchestrate, and thank you so much to Barbara Scarpa Pinkham and Diana Lael, who year in, year out, when we do this event, they help organize everybody, and to the hundreds of volunteers that scattered across the town and cleaned this place up and kept Livingston beautiful. And I want to thank also to the Trib, who gave us a lot of good free press on the front page, for, making sure people knew about the event. And we had a lot of people that came forward because they knew about it. They read it in the Trib, and they wanted to participate. There was a gentleman who was in the group that I was in, who was just a father. He came by himself. He said that he loves doing this event every year because it makes him feel good about living in town and doing something that matters. And so if you didn't get to do it this year, hopefully when we do it next year, you'll be able to come out and participate with us. I also wanted to say we had a nice holy celebration with the Sanskriti community, a little delayed from, I know, the actual bounds of the holiday, but I think a lot of people had a lot of fun, so that was great. And then we also, I think every council member was at the pool committee meeting from last week. And I want to thank the pool committee for their hard work and for all the people who came out to give feedback. I think we have work to do on figuring out what the future is of the pools in our town, but I think it's a bright future, and we just have to make sure that we do it the right way, and that's what we're going to try to do. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Pagoli?
Usually when it gets to my part, you've all said what I wanted to say, but did you mention the town forum tomorrow for the pools?
Oh, I didn't. Thank
Yeah,
you.
tomorrow we're having another pool committee town forum at the community center at 7 p.m. We look forward to your participation. We had the pleasure of, I attended along with Al, 4 ribbon cuttings with the bid. Within last week, we were running around town. We all had just a testament to the bid and to this community, those who want to come into our town and have their businesses here. We congratulate them. So many ribbon cuttings are happening, and we're very proud to have Livingston have so much commerce coming in. Wishing a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers yesterday. And I think, thank you for Pick It Up Livingston. I think it was a wonderful event. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor, is there anything left for us?
We didn't consult, but I don't think so.
Try it.
Because Rosie got the ribbon cuttings. Yeah, we went to a lot.
She got my pool committee. Yeah, everybody.
I know.
I mean, it's kind of amazing. 3 people spoke and didn't repeat themselves, right? There's so much going on.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for the appointment of Chloe and Audit. That's a nice addition to the LEC. Congratulations to them if they're watching.
Good.
Thanks.
Thank you. And as Deputy, as Councilman Meinhardt mentioned, the Memorial Day Parade, let's keep our fingers crossed for good weather. And the only thing I have left, since everything else was taken, is besides the Kiwanis Carnival this week over at the Northfield Road, this Saturday, Livingston's Community Healthy Youth Organization is sponsoring the first Lego League Explorer Expo. That's going to be at our Oval with our Livingston Robotics Club. They are going to be doing some advanced robotic demos, and over 30 robotics teams from around the state will be participating. So the time is this Saturday, May 20th, from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock at our Oval. So that's all I have. And So at this point, I want to thank everyone for coming out today. We are remaining in open session and going back to the conference room to finish those items on the conference agenda. We will not be having a closed session after that. Our next meeting will be Tuesday. Remember, not Monday, Tuesday, May 30th, 2023. Thank you.